25 years? Now that's game. NERDSoul. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we coming into another wonderful episode of Thumbnails. And today we're moving everything to the side for the 25th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series. The joint was just so fresh, and I'm just going to take a little time to tell you the things that I loved about the show. Now, when the show was on, I was coming up, I would see it after school. I think it came on like right before Gargoyles or something like that, and it just really blew my mind. And I'm going to give you my 5 things I loved about Batman the Animated Series. And starting with number 5 is the incredible rogues gallery that they portrayed on screen. Batman has tons of villains. Some are good, some aren't good. But the great thing about this show is that they were able to take even the villains that weren't really all that and somehow make them compelling. Like the way they wrote the villains, the way they toyed with Bruce Wayne's, actual life and Batman as a hero. They really got under his skin, and they really provided a decent threat. Like no matter the villain, even like the weaker ones, like the clock guy, I didn't really think he was all that. But he was able, the way he was written, he was able to present a serious threat, not only to Gotham, but to Bruce Wayne or Batman himself. And then, you have the better villains, like one of my favorite was Clayface. Like you just have you have the villains great and small, also villains that were physical and villains that weren't so physical provide a great threat and a great, match for his wits and for his strength. And for me, that's what really shines. That's what really, truly shines when you're talking about villains, of course, facing against a hero that's been around for some time. So my number 4 is the fact that this is set sort of like a period piece. You have kind of like the Art Deco sort of 1930s or 20s style kind of buildings and stuff. And it looked good on Batman, like from the Batmobile to the way the buildings were built to the fashion, like everything just looked really good on Gotham. It looked really good on Batman, even Bruce Wayne himself. I just love the style of kind of that, not too techy kind of feel, and kind of getting down to the roots of doing a lot of, detective work and, kind of getting out there and looking for clues sometimes. It really gave the feel of a mix with the new and a little bit of Dick Tracy-ness, if you will. But I really enjoy, and this is for someone I do not normally like period pieces, but I think that this one, it shines for me. Batman looks good, especially just like the new coming Gotham by Gaslight. I think Batman looks good in period pieces. I don't know why. He just works there. So anyway, my number 3 is the way the show handled the Bat family. From, Robin to Batgirl, it showed that they had their idiosyncrasies, they had their little interpersonal relationships and their hiccups and even their hang-ups about each other. But it did show that they were a family. It showed that even though they didn't always get along, they definitely had a camaraderie. They definitely had a brotherhood or a sisterhood or looked to Batman like a father. And even Batman treated them like his own. And, regardless of whether they were playful or not, later on, I believe they brought in Tim Drake and, stuff like that. Whether they were playful or maybe too much for Bruce Wayne or Batman, he still showed a kind of a fatherly kind of like, protection about them or a love about them, and they adored Bruce Wayne. They adored Batman, and it was cool to see them write these characters in such a normal light, because you have these these larger than life characters and they've been around forever, but to kind of break them down and have them have real relationships, at least for me on screen, it just worked. I had a lot of fun watching these characters relate to each other and go out and, of course, beat up people together. So that's my number 3, man. Bat Family really worked. I just loved how they made them work together. So before I move on, let me remind you, you can find me at blackhollywoodlive.com. That's right, the first online network for African Americans, super dope. And you can find celebrity interviews, after shows, sports talk, geek, nerd, tech, the whole shebang-a-bang at youtube.com/blackhollywoodlive. Now, my number 2 is, of course, the action. This show had a gang of fight scenes, and they shine through. I mean, whether it was hand-to-hand or some type of weapons, even when he was more on the martial arts side, or if it was just kind of like a knockdown, drag-out fist fight, you know, the scenes worked well. The way they did the action, even when they went to their moments of kind of like the crash, pow kind of moments where it was just like that one hit, it worked for me. I think the action was perfect for the time that they set it in. And, you know, just like the flips and the kicks, it just, all of the, you know, the way they storyboarded it, the way they animated and pulled it off, all the fight scenes still today work. Like if I watch the DVDs that I have back in the day, and I mean, they still have them available, but back in the day I saw them, they were at the Walmart and they had like the whole series, so I bought them. But even now when I watch them, those action sequences are still solid. Now, once again, I'm going to go back to my favorite, of course. You know, of course you had like Man Bat, Croc, all them, but Clayface, I loved those sequences. The way Clayface would move, the way he would attack, just his attitude towards Batman was just, Clayface is crazy. And I loved how him and Batman would just kind of like engage each other. The way Batman would have to get out of these, you know, kind of like, you know, he would put the arm around him and it would like stick him to the wall or something. The way he would have to get out of that, the way he had to be like quick and the reflexes, I just really love that about this show, man. The action was always on point. But my last thing, you know, above the Rogues Gallery, above the Bat Family, above being a period piece, above the action was my number 1, which is Bruce Wayne himself. The animated series, and of course, when you have an animated series, you have years and years to kind of like write someone's character and create them and kind of show them on screen. But I think that the animated series to this day has handled Bruce Wayne the best. Not Batman, but the actual man of Bruce Wayne, like how he felt, what his relationships were like, what working, you know, what running, you know, Wayne Court was like, you know, like all of these things that made Bruce Wayne, I think they spent a lot of time giving us that side, because this could have easily been just like Batman punches bad guys. Easily. It could have easily been that. But they spent a lot of time dealing with the man. And I think the man behind the mask is what made this show great. Now, of course, you know, there were a couple of people, like some animators, some writers that made this great, but I think their depiction of that man and Bruce Wayne, of course, made this show what it is. So, guys, holla at me. I'm gonna holla at you. Down in the comments, let me know your favorite moments, your favorite parts, your favorite things when it comes to Batman, the animated series. And I'm gonna go on and bounce, because you got things to do. And before I bounce, I gotta tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right, check me out right there. All the videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that are right there. Then hit up shop.thatnerdsoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt player. And don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that NERDSoul. That's right, there's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. And LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please, man, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And of course, if you ever need to shine that bat light up in the sky, hold on just a moment. He'll be right there. Peace.